I stood on the dock, watching suited investors sip champagne on my lakefront. The homeowners association thought they'd seized control, unaware they'd built their luxury resort on land I still owned. In less than 24 hours, I'd sell it all for billions. The evening sun gleamed off their glass-fronted lodge, nestled between manicured gardens and rental boats as seen straight from a travel magazine. I smiled as the HOA president led tours for investors, oblivious that their dream was about to collapse. The breeze carried their chatter expansion plans, membership tiers, revenue streams from the same folks who'd once called my cabin an eyesore. Now they served canapes on platforms anchored to my lake bed. I adjusted my sun hat, unrecognizable at this distance. To them, I'd always been invisible, except when I blocked their plans. Today, I was scouting, confirming my strategy. Tomorrow, I'd be undeniable. 5 years ago, I inherited this pristine lake from my grandfather, who bought it in the 1960s, before the valley became a haven for wealthy estates. The lake, deep, clear, spring-fed, was a gem that spiked property values. Grandfather's records showed we owned not just the North Shore cabin, but the entire lake and 100 feet of surrounding shoreline. I treasured it for peace, not profit, a retreat from my city job. He'd been meticulous, hiring surveyors in the 1990s to mark our boundaries. "Lila," he'd say on fishing trips, "this water's ours. Never let anyone claim it." He showed me the deed, tied to landmarks, a granite outcrop, an ancient cedar, a southern spring. Developers' offers, growing richer, were always refused. "Some things aren't for sale," he'd say, watching the sunset ripple. After his death, I found his journals, chronicling developers' tactics-friendly pitches turning to veiled threats of eminent domain. His final entry, months before passing, noted consulting environmental lawyers to protect the lake. "Lila loves this place, but she hasn't faced their pressure. I've fortified our legal position. The rest is hers." I vowed to honor his vigilance. As the valley filled with mansions, the Crestview Estates HOA formed, with fees rivaling mortgages. Living outside their bounds, I wasn't under their rules, but they sent letters calling my cabin a visual blight and my natural shoreline unkempt. I ignored them, preferring cattails to their sterile lawns. Crestview marketed itself as the county's elite destination, their brochures flaunting lakefront views, without admitting they didn't own the Lockheed lie that justified premium lot prices. Their 100-page guidelines controlled everything from paint shades to shrub heights, enforced by style monitors, retired executives in golf carts issuing fines. My first run-in came my second summer here. Hosting a 4th of July barbecue, I was interrupted by 3 HOA board members, led by Gerald Stratton, Community Aesthetics Chair. He claimed my party's noise violated their tranquility standards. I pointed out my land wasn't theirs. "Technically, no," he smirked, "but your actions affect our residents' enjoyment." He handed me their noise rules and suggested I comply as a courtesy. I tossed the papers in the fire pit and partied on. Trouble escalated during a drought, when water grew scarce. The HOA, led by Catherine Heller, a former tech CEO, held an emergency meeting to secure lake access. A neighbor, Martha Quinn, a retired environmental lawyer, leaked the minutes. Heller's planned community resource reclamation was to exploit zoning loopholes for my water. I called it theft. Martha, who'd fought the HOA's overreach, warned me over tea. "They've planned this for years. First, they tried regulating lake access as environmental protection. Then, they offered to buy shoreline bits. Now, they're using the drought to claim necessity." She pointed to a century-old statute Heller cited for emergency water access. "Catherine doesn't lose gracefully," Martha said. "She sees obstacles as puzzles, not limits." Heller had joined Crestview after satellite images showed the lake's value, becoming president within 6 months, promising enhanced water amenities. The minutes revealed a chilling strategy: assess my resistance threshold, probing my finances, job, and family for leverage. They'd even considered condemning my cabin via environmental rules if I resisted too hard. This wasn't neighborly overreach, but a calculated campaign to strip my rights. They'd wargamed my legal moves, planning to outlast me financially. Soon, machinery appeared at the lake's south end. I confronted the crew, deed in hand, but they referred me to the HOA. Heller's voice oozed fake warmth. Lila, we meant to discuss this. It's just community amenities county approved. Our lawyers can explain. At the county permits office, a clerk dug up the files, muttering, "This is odd." Approvals from the commissioner, zoning board, and environmental team, all rushed in days, were labeled a community resilience initiative to skirt landowner consent. The blueprints showed docks, a clubhouse, and gardens, not watershed infrastructure. The environmental report, a flimsy 3 pages, praised replacing natural shores with managed recreation. When I tried to object, the appeal window had closed notices buried in newspaper classifieds. The clerk whispered, "Get a property rights lawyer." This isn't normal. Glancing at a photo of Heller at a county ribbon cutting, funded by Crestview donors. 3 attorneys confirmed the HOA's deep county ties and legal stamina would make fighting tough. But one, Elena Torres, a 30-year property rights veteran, spotted a flaw. While the HOA secured building permits, they hadn't transferred land ownership. "In this state, riparian rights are ironclad," she said, tapping my deed. "Your grandfather registered the lakebed itself. They built on your foundation." Torres offered 2 paths: an injunction to stop construction, risking years of costly litigation, or a long game let them build, then claim the improvements. "It's risky," she admitted. "Document everything. Don't tip your hand, and endure their takeover. But every dollar they spend adds value to your land." Why hadn't their lawyers caught this? "Corporate attorneys chase permits, not historical deeds," she said, citing 19th century water rights in my favor. She advised logging all HOA actions, paying property taxes, and confirming boundaries yearly. "Don't fight now," she said. "Let them invest. When you strike, their improvements are yours." Her fee was modest, and a framed article on her wall, "Farmer Beats Developer in Land Fight," gave me hope. For 2 years, I watched, seething, as they turned my sanctuary into a rich man's playground. A $3 million boathouse with exotic wood and brass fixtures housed 20 luxury boats. A 3-story lodge, designed by a famed architect, boasted stone fireplaces and a gourmet restaurant. They added a white sand beach, lit trails, and a yacht marina. HOA notices claimed these community enhancements boosted everyone's property values. I documented every step: drone footage, photos with GPS tags, a spreadsheet of costs. Public records gave me their contract's $20 million spent, far over their $12 million budget. I scavenged discarded plans from dumpsters, mapping their vision. Martha's leaked HOA minutes showed Heller justifying overruns. "This resort will raise property values 30%, securing usage rights through occupation." They thought continuous use would lock in their claim. When I objected, their replies cited recreational easements that didn't exist, backed by vague county codes. At one meeting, Heller had me escorted out for calling their actions illegal. "Some lack vision," she told the crowd. Their tactics turned personal. Anonymous workplace complaints questioned my professionalism. My boss, supportive but wary, noted Heller's board seat at our firm's top client. My reviews soured. Deliveries to my cabin vanished. Plumbers refused jobs. Internet lines were tampered with. Potential dates were warned I was trouble. Martha faced similar harassment fines for her garden's non-compliant plants. Her approved house colors suddenly invalid. She emailed, "They're watching, but I'm still documenting. I'll stand with you." Her files included board talks on neutralizing the lake issue. I feigned surrender, skipping meetings, ignoring crews, even painting my cabin their approved sage green. With Torres, I crafted responses acknowledging HOA letters without conceding rights. My paint job came with a county filing stating it was under duress, not consent. I allowed crew access for specific tasks, reserving ownership in writing. Secretly, I intensified my work. A forensic accountant found the HOA diverted maintenance funds to the lake, awarding inflated contracts to board cronies. I networked with real estate contacts, learning luxury resort valuations without revealing my plan. Each morning, I noted new additions: marble bathrooms, custom doors, underwater lights adding value to my land. My patience honed like a blade. With commercial real estate experts, I tracked the HOA's improvements, valuing the land's rise. Geological surveys confirmed the spring's purity. I studied resort sales, eyeing buyers. A top property attorney reaffirmed my deed's strength that HOA never owned the land. After 3 years, their Crestview Oasis was done, costing $30 million. At the televised gala, Heller called it nature meets ingenuity, ignoring my ownership. Membership fees doubled, but property values soared 40%. A week later, I listed the lake, including all structures, with a luxury real estate broker for $3 billion. The Wall Street Journal headline, "Untapped Lake Resort Hits Market," drew global interest. Heller stormed to my cabin with lawyers and the board, waiving the listing. "You can't sell community property." I laid out my deed, county records, and a legal opinion. "You built on my land without ownership." An oversight, but it doesn't change facts. Her lawyers paled, one whispering urgently. "It's a trick," Heller insisted, faltering. "You invested millions in my property," I said. "Permits let you build, not own." They tried injunctions, adverse possession claims, and county appeals all failed. My deed was airtight, their own records proving the value they added. Panic hit Crestview. Homeowners faced losing lake access. Fees had funded my asset. The board risked lawsuits for misrepresentation. Buyers flocked. 3 hotel chains, a tech billionaire, a resort conglomerate. One executive marveled. "It's rare a developed gym untapped commercially." I got 3 offers, the highest from Horizon Resorts at $4.2 billion, aiming to restrict access to paying guests, cutting off Crestview entirely. Heller called an emergency meeting, inviting me. The clubhouse overflowed with furious residents. She offered $1 billion to keep the community vibe. I took the mic. "This happened because you built on my land," ignoring my warnings. I was dismissed, removed from meetings, harassed. I've accepted Horizon's bid. The room erupted calls for Heller's resignation, threats of lawsuits. An elderly resident summed it up. They built a palace on her land and act shocked she's keeping it. The sale closed fast. Horizon paid $4.2 billion, granting me lifetime access I'd never use. New signs read, "Private property, Horizon Resorts, reservation only." Crestview's property values tanked 60%. Homeowners, underwater on mortgages, sued the board, which resigned. Heller sold her mansion and fled. Horizon added a 5-star hotel, golf course, and helipad, hosting elites. Crestview's HOA, stuck with maintenance fees for a resort they couldn't use, bled funds. I bought a quiet oceanfront home, no HOAs. Most of my fortune funded conservation trusts to shield natural lands from Crestview's fate. Crestview never recovered, many sold at losses. Some sent regretful notes, but they rang hollow. On my new deck, watching dolphins, I reflected. The HOA, blinded by ambition, forgot the foundation, my deed. They thought wealth trumped rights. I let them build their dream on my land, then claimed it. Justice wasn't loud, it was patient. They sought to steal my legacy. Instead, they handed me billions and lost their paradise.